Hi guys, now on Lead Adventure Forum, which I also sort of frequent, I said to them that I'd show them what I'm working on with my dwarves. So, hi laugh guys, these are the dwarves that I'm working on. So essentially, just to show you what I'm doing, I'm getting old dwarfs off eBay that look a bit like that because they're cheap. The main reason being is I want to practice sort of sculpting, getting better at sculpting so I can do more conversions and things. I already had a small sort of dwarf adventuring party, which includes this guy. Well, essentially there's him, there's various different flavours, and I got the hassle-free Grimdalf. I haven't quite got round to doing it yet, if I can find it over here, but I have a little familiar for him, which is going to be an owl that focuses in on Elven Runestone to add a bit of flavour. I've got one of the old white dwarf models, and it's superb. He's nice and simple. I like him. They're going to be sort of integrated into different units for hopefully a fantastic saga dwarf force. So the first unit I was currently putting together, or I started off putting together, you see there's a couple of them here that are sort of a work in progress. So I started off with warriors. Now what I do is I reduce that figure that you saw before to something that looks a bit like this. So I lop off the head and the arms, and I basically have like a very basic armature with all the work done with the legs and the main bulk of the body. I then get pieces from other kits, plastic kits. In this case, it's the latest Games Workshop dwarf. I think they're either Ironbreakers or Longbeard, something like that. Which is a really nice kit. Unfortunately, I've now run out of parts, so the next dwarf warrior unit is going to be less armoured and more sort of old school, I think. But yeah, this is the sort of, he looks more like of a champion. I've used the head and the larger shield. The guys that I've already done, I've obviously used parts from an older dwarf kit in this one. Oh, come on. That's it. If you can see, he's got a pipe, and I sort of shaved the top finger off of his hand, the shield, this is normally the shield hand, and to wrap it around the pipe, which is from one of the older plastic kits. So he's sort of like got he's a bit of a relaxed pose. I like to have a mixture of poses in units so that if there's a mission, I know, with guards or something like that, then there's a guy that looks like he could just be standing outside a gate. From this angle, he looks like he's completely a new miniature because you can only really see those parts, but all of the green you can see on there, there's green stuff. So that's all the work that I've done. Obviously some of the posing and everything could be better. I'm improving slightly over time. These aren't all entirely done yet. There's another one. Another one of my more sort of favourite ones. I like to have a little bit of a story to each one. So he's either blocking a blow coming in from above, or he's shielding himself from arrows or missiles. So he's sort of bracing himself ready for the enemy to come in, which is, you know, maybe why the arrows are coming in the first place, to cover their advance. And this is another guy which is just a bit more in a sort of traditional, I'm going to hit you with my axe pose. I need to smooth off an area which you can still see as your grey there. But yeah, these I'm having great fun converting these up, to be honest. And again, I'm combining different eras of miniatures, and if I just pan that down, you can just kind of see how they're looking as a unit at the moment. And obviously this guy will lead them. Something a bit like that. I need to add another 3, which is the guys at the back here, to make the 8 for a warrior unit. So these guys are going to be sort of, although they're warriors, they're going to be more of my sort of, I wouldn't know, throne room kind of guys. Although I do have Hearthguard as well, but the Hearthguard are two-handed weapons, and they look a little bit less armoured as well. I've got this guy from Soldado off Random Platypus as well, so he'd almost probably suit these guys a bit better, but I'm debating at the moment which unit to put him in, but we'll see. I can switch it around if I need to. Now this guy is from 4A Miniatures. He normally comes, I will do a review with him at some point. I might even have the other one to hand quickly. Yes I do, which is just good. I've had to convert him because he looks a little bit different normally. He normally comes, he's got a little bunny rabbit in his hand, and if you look, he's got a little bunny rabbit poking out from under his tunic, and a little bunny rabbit bottom sticking out from under his cloak. So he's quite a characterful guy. If you wanted somebody that's a bit of a more of a philosophical looking dwarf with a sort of more studious look, perhaps more of a thinker than a fighter, like a lord or something, he'd be a really nice figure. He's not expensive either, so I'd go and have a look. Like I say, I'll review him at a later date along with the other ones that I bought from 4A at the time, but I'm converting mine to be sort of just toting a double-handed axe. He's going to be the leader of the Hearthguard, so he will go with those guys, and obviously I need to make 3 more of those, well 2 more if I use the standard bearer, to make that up into a unit. Well, that'll then be 2 units of Hearthguard. Then I can hear you asking, well that's fine because that's 1 unit of warriors, 1 unit of Hearthguard, so who's your lord? I shall just, got bits here. Now the lord I'm going to use, the lord model anyway, I'm having to convert because, again, being a bit of a scrimper and doing things on a bit of a budget, I get a lot of my things from a guy called Mighty Miniatures on Facebook, and he does these like second-hand sales. It's one of those kind of second-hand dealers. So I'm having to convert. I don't know if you can see that. This guy is okay so far. The actual part on his helm is a little bit big, but if you can see what I was trying to get to, I don't mind it being big. He's got no horns, so his lack of horns is made up by his strange helmet design being a little bit bigger. So he will go there. At the moment I'm considering giving him a hammer, and of course the Dwarf Lord will be sitting atop the shield in a sort of similar fashion to that. So that's my Dwarf Lord model when he doesn't fall off the shield. Obviously he's got his grudge book there as well, which she'll have. And then you say, well that's fine, but that's still only maybe 3 points of stuff, and you need more. Right, okay, so I need more stuff. I should just move these parts over here. They're going to be onto the warriors. So I've started on some crossbowed guys. Now, as you can see here, I'm using slightly older heads with newer arms. It's got a slightly newer crossbow. So again, you can see I'm using that old body, and you can see where I go. I do all the arm work first, and then I start putting on the hood area. So I've got to do 8 of those guys. I've got another one blue tacked up, but I'm having to figure out how to work with his beard, his plaited beard, because obviously his arm needs to go through that space there, and that's kind of in the way. So I've either got a choice of cutting it off, hiding it under the arm, or trying to bend it so it goes over the arm. It's not necessarily the best combination if you're a crossbowman to be combining it with long beards, but there you go. That's 2 so far started-ish, another one on the way for 8. And you say, well that's fine, but that's only 1 more unit of warriors, and you'd be right. So what else do I need? Well, I could do with a unit of berserkers. So in come, and these aren't really conversions, so I just need to make another 4 of those. But I've got the plastic Avatar of War Berserkers, which will go fantastically well. A Games Workshop, I believe there's a Demon Slayer or Giant Slayer, one of the two, and a hassle-free female Slayer. So that's 4. So I need another 4 to make that another warrior unit. And then eventually, and I've got this guy to lead them, when I get the parts through from, again, Mighty Miniatures, I'm going to have a unit of Levy Bowmen, led by this guy, who's actually a crew figure from one of the old Dwarf war machines. He had like a... Well, actually this part, the pommel is actually remains from what he had. And I just stuck a shaft on. I'm just trying to think which hand. Yeah, so the hand furthest away, so his right hand there, that was part of the axe already. But yeah, it's conversion. He was going to be more of an adventuring type for my warband. I stuck a sword in him and a shield and a bow, because I like my dwarves to have bows. So I've got a load of those guys ready to convert up. Obviously, you have to have your magic user. He's going to be my rune priest, I believe is what they're called. And then I will do another unit of warriors led by this guy, and including the other 2 members of my original warband. So I was going to do sort of the light technique on him, but I went a bit wrong, and the tutorial I was following wasn't quite finished, so I'm not really sure where to go from there. And then of course I have this just for baggage. So that so far is what my dwarf force is going to be looking like when it's done. I obviously have quite a bit more work to do. I've got 2 more Hearthguard to finish. I've got three more of the first unit of warriors, the Lord. Yeah, I've got quite a bit to go. So as you can see, that is where I'm up to at the moment. So yeah, I'll try and keep you guys updated with it rather. Cheers, bye bye now.